Hello, my friends, and welcome to tonight's episode of the Astral Calling here on twitch.tv/tabletop rolls. What? Yeah, I just went like, Astral Calling.
It's somewhere behind me.
It's somewhere behind me. It's
can't
frogs.
see it,
It's
but
in the
there.
frogs.
It's in the frogs.
The frogs hold all the
universe.
secrets.
It's all
The frogs. It's all frogs.
Always has been.
So see the entirety of the universe is actually on the back of a giant astral frog.
That's why everything's been so turbulent lately.
Right?
Every time it jumps, something weird happens.
Hero. But hello, my friends. Hope you're doing well tonight. Before we get started, some programming announcements. Number one, tomorrow night, Tabletop Bros is taking the week off. Matt and I are doing a thing with Squishy in the morning, and then in the evening, I'm going to be at an art show.
Yee.
Nice. Not ours this time.
Doing the Doki Doki Night Market.
That's the last time you get to do that.
That's the last time I get to do that.
One too many.
Yeah.
At least one too many.
Where am I?
You're in
Hell.
you're in the Netflix adaptation of Astral Calling.
So
You can
hell.
You can tell because of my wig.
Somebody will get paid.
Oh god.
The wig.
The
Anyway,
Netflix adaptation wigs.
I
They're all
mean,
bad.
They are.
I'm also remembering Princess Yue from the movie of Avatar with the...
believe it or not, the movie wig is better than the Netflix adaptation wig. Apparently,
I have a hard time believing that.
I have seen both of them and agree.
Boy.
I know I've heard a lot of comparisons of and I think a lot of people have forgotten how bad that movie was.
I'm just going to say this.
So where
the
things they're complaining about in the live action adaptation, and say, oh man, that movie was better. I think those people need to go see that movie again.
Just
On-
think of it like this. Just think of it like this. The live action adaptations of Avatar are just the Ember Island players. And it makes
Something
everything more palatable. But so yeah, Saturday we are off for the night. Sunday we'll probably also take off because I think we're down Sarah, and honestly I'm going to be exhausted. Emily's going to be exhausted. And so we'll probably take this weekend off from streaming. But Monday we'll be back with the Strength of Thousands Adventure Path.
Sleepover.
Doing the sleepover that I will, for the
That Will's
sake.
so excited about.
I'm actually excited to see what happens in that sleepover. I think it'll be a good time. Then after the Strength of Thousand sleepover special, we will go to Tuesday night with his Remnant 2 with a dev, also known as Datafang. Person that I've been playing Remnant 2 with, who's a dev on the game. We're playing on the hardest difficulty. We made new characters, and we're almost at the final boss for the first world. Come and join us to get really cool insight on the development of the game and some cool factoids, like apparently solving a certain bug was incredibly time-consuming and annoying, and get to hear those types of stories. It's very cool. Speaking of very cool, the opposite of cool is hot. And what's hot? The desert. And what's in the desert? Why, wild ambition. Join
Most
us.
of our players.
Yes, and most of the players
Yeah.
for that one too. Join us for Wild Ambition on Wednesday as we begin the new arc with a bang, and that's all I'm going to say about it. Then
More explosive barrels. Rip
On-
Carla.
Then
Fire.
on Thursday we're off, but of course Friday we have the Astral Calling, the show you're watching right now. We are going to be down Maya for a few weeks as they have gotten a show. They're doing a play.
Huzzah.
I think they're doing like a stage combat-y play and they're stabbing people. So
They may be doing that regardless of whether or not there's stage combat in the play.
that's
Get
valid.
enough hecklers in the audience.
But we are down to Maya for a few weeks, so break legs, Maya. All the legs will be broken. And kick ass, because you're awesome. But speaking of awesome, we of course have an awesome cast here tonight. Starting off with the person whose favorite number is 3, but they never seem to get their hands on it. It's Chad playing Vim tonight.
I was immediately lost when you talk about favorite number, and I was like, I When you start doing these introductions,
Yeah.
I start listening, and then like, there's
Sort of
usually a
drift.
moment where I can be like, "Oh, this isn't me." And when you said favorite number, I did that, but then you said my name, and now I'm all fucked up.
It's about the Dragon Age thing.
I know he's taunting me, and it's going to happen one of these years. It's only been a little over 1,000 days since they announced it without any news since then. Only. Hey, Skull and Bones just came out, and that was announced
It
in
looks
2017.
Beta, isn't
But
it?
it did come out.
I think
No,
this is
it's
the
out.
most desperate I've ever seen you.
Right?
I'm just saying. It's
You're
not
like
as bad as it could
tweaking
be.
right now.
My secret is I'm always tweaking.
Having
No,
Dragon Quest withdrawals right now.
I'm just saying it's not as bad as it could be.
No, I mean,
You could be the Metroid Prime 4 fandom.
you could be.
Speaking of not as bad as
But
it
then
could be,
I'd be
it's me. Can I
No. But speaking of the Metroid Prime 4 fandom, someone who I could see being like a pretty badass Samus cosplayer, Rose, playing Luna.
I would do it.
Yeah.
I have a Zero Suit Samus costume in there, but I would love to do like the full armor someday too.
Would you make it so it could collapse into the ball?
No, as evidenced in Metroid Prime 1, when the space pirates tried to replicate Samus's suit technology, several of them broke. Their spines just snapped as they tried to replicate the morph ball function. So I'm gonna learn from their mistakes and say, fuck no.
Samus is
Speaking
one of a kind.
Speaking of breaking spines for cosplay, McKenna playing Eevee tonight.
So real, so real.
I know.
Also, speaking of video game news that nobody but me cares about, Endless Ocean Luminance is coming out, y'all. The new Endless Ocean game is dropping.
McKenna,
Okay.
I was talking to Chad about that, and he's just like, I don't know why you're excited about this game. And I was like, because it's going to just be fun.
Okay,
It's the best game ever made.
so there's a person that knew this game existed. Then that's interesting.
Me. It's me and my younger brother.
The
So there's
fact-
3.
The fact that was and one more thing
This is just
For
what,
a Nintendo
scuba
Direct
diving the game.
is mind-boggling to me.
It's
That
relaxing.
that was their and one more thing announcement at the end of the direct is insanity.
Because it's the best thing they announced. And I stand by that. Endless Ocean is video game mastery.
In
It was
fairness, for my purposes, that was probably the worst Nintendo Direct I've ever seen. For my purposes.
it's the only one I've cared about in years.
The
Since the one where they
Princess Peach
announced
game is gonna look so good, and you're gonna be so sorry when it comes out, and you have to eat those words because Did you see the rest of the costumes? Did you see Mermaid Peach?
Oh, I
Ice
should have
Skater
seen Mermaid
Peach.
Peach, and I have not seen
She
Mermaid
was a
Peach.
skater boy. She said, "See you
I
later,
feel
boy."
like I saw the
Avril
Ice
Lavigne
Skater one,
Peach.
but I think I completely missed the mermaid somehow.
How
I
did
think
you
I was
miss Mermaid Peach?
I think I was
I
already
mean, if she's underwater, she's hard to
um,
see.
I think I was already
I got you. I
losing
got you.
Chad,
Man.
Chad,
At
Chad
the
saw
direct.
the Princess Peach trailer and was just nar, and then just tuned out.
I can guarantee that didn't happen.
I got you,
Um,
fam. It's okay.
But why would I play as Mermaid Peach when I can play as a scuba diver exploring hidden depths and discovering new coelacanth populations and rare creatures? I love those games. My younger brother also adores these games, and we have not had news from them in I think 15 years.
15 years.
15 years.
Yeah.
And they haven't remastered any of the first 2 games for Switch, so they're virtually impossible to play.
I'm excited because it looks like this one's going to be heavily multiplayer focused. I'm excited
I'm a little
to
worried about that.
dive around with people. That could be fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of people who are chronically worried, Matthew playing Darius tonight.
I feel incredibly called out, but it's also true. Also, just so I can make you all as anxious as I feel, when Will made a comment earlier about the universe being on the back of a frog, What I went to is those frogs that have like their young embedded in their backs, and I thought, oh, each one of those is a tiny little globe of a galaxy,
Yeah.
embedded in their flesh.
Don't give him any ideas, Matthew, or that's how this campaign is going to end.
We just zoom out. It's like the ending of that one Men in Black
Men in
movie
Black.
where it's just one of many doors.
Life has many doors,
Many doors,
boy.
that boy.
I'm
yeah, so
excited
here
for
I'm-
Sentai Peach.
I'm here to play
It looks like Big Hero.
Spirit Guardian's Transportation, Darius the Forge Cleric.
Uh,
It's just such a good spell. Come from Baldur's Gate. It's such a good spell. To hear, it's such a good spell.
and yes, last but not least, of course, we have myself, also known as Will, also known as Tabletop Rolls on the internet. And we have a lot to get into today.
Yeah.
So, I guess it's time to roll that intro. Last time on the Astral Calling, our party made their way to the last known location of Dr. Tolatio. Upon their arrival, they were greeted by Experiment 3, version 14, who, after discussing the party's unwelcome welcome, he allowed them to enter into a bit of a waiting room. Whilst in this waiting room, a large puzzle cube came and essentially trapped them inside. As our party completed several puzzles and escaped the cube, Luna, having a terrible string of luck, uses their final Devil's Luck point.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I leave y'all alone for
Nat
one week.
But McKenna,
For
that was
Nat 1.
that was where the triple Nat 1 came from. That was her last. That was Luna's last double
Yeah.
Lux point.
I rolled with advantage situationally, and then I Devil's Luck pointed. No, I got another one using a hero point, and then I got another one using a devil point,
Oh.
Yeah,
or like a 10 or so. Like it was so bad.
it was rough. But yeah, after successfully defeating the puzzle cube, our party entered the lab properly, where behind a number of bits of equipment and computers and monitors and centrifuges and beakers and Bunsen burners and meeps, our party saw Dr. Tolatio standing over a workstation, apparently in the midst of work. And that's where we left off.
Bane. No.
14, fetch me microdose 578.
He's microdosing.
As you wish, Doctor. Thank you, 14. There we go.
Doctor.
14.
13.
Oh. 13. You're still pink, I see.
Yes. We solved your puzzle box. It was a good puzzle box.
Oh, the waiting room.
Yes.
Experiment 14, can you send me isotope 398, please? As you
I
wish,
can
Doctor.
Get
Thank
it
you,
for
14. There we go. Let's see. Perfect. That's
He
coming along
is
nicely.
trying to poke around all of his business.
And he's just fully ignoring you. He's just like working. 14, can you get... He stops for a second, he looks. Like, and as you're like looking, you're like blocking the screen, and you just feel his hand just kind of like push your head out of the way.
Oh, apologies.
14, could you please keep 13 entertained while I finish the work, please?
I could help you finish the work, Doctor.
It's why I have 14. 13.
I mean, 2 heads are better than 1.
Debatable. I found that a second head often actually led to infighting between the 2 heads at some point. That was 12.
Ah. And 3.5.
Oh, you've met 3.5. Interesting. Oh, that's why she went offline. Oh well. I suppose one less roadblock isn't the end of the world.
While we're standing here, does anyone need any healing?
I don't know.
I'm
I'm gonna
slap,
level with you.
You're
Ryan.
fine.
I'm gonna slap myself with a second level cure wounds actually, because I'm down like nearly half my
No,
health.
I didn't get touched.
So while we're just sitting here,
Well, I don't want to interrupt your work.
Why are you
But
here?
I.
It's not to interrupt me. It's currently what you're doing, 13.
Apologies. I just thought you might like to hear about. It can wait.
I mean, appears as though you left the post that I set you at. Did something happen?
I was forcefully ejected by Myark, who you did not mention was your son.
Yes, I left you with him because I assumed that the Calistigian Order would be sending people their way. I was hoping that you would slow them down enough for him to escape.
Ah, yes. Well, it wasn't the Calistigian Order. You may have seen the wanted posters, maybe not. I hope not. But Valduke Orley is actually a black dragon, who is also a pirate. He sort of
How is
moonlights.
this relevant to you?
I'm getting there. I'm sorry. He attacked the ship, and Myark
Still not very succinct, I see.
got us off the ship. Not that I wanted to leave. I was meant to fix the capsule from the interior. He was meant to join us, and he lied. Diverting me from my course. But that's okay, because I made it back here. And I can continue.
Yes, I'll be done
Your work.
here. I'll be done here in a few days. You can stay here and stop them when they come to this site.
Yes.
Yes.
I would love to look through your research on the Calistigian Order.
Oh, do not worry about it. It's unnecessary for you to educate yourself on such matters. You are simply a way to buy time.
Yeah, that doesn't work for me.
nor
I don't-
I.
Follow.
Oh! Evie, you did not tell me you brought others with you. He just kind of
didn't
stops
wanna
for a moment.
I'm not terribly perceptive, I see. Okay.
14, finish this up, and once you're done there, you know.
Also
do-
terribly lacking in manners. A great deal of instructions have been given, and no please.
Well, I mean, you don't ask a hammer to hit a nail.
There is
Well,
actually might.
I don't see any hammers in the room. I see living creatures.
Well, you have a hammer.
I mean, yes, living
Yes.
creatures can also be tools. That's why I created 13.
Yeah, I'm looking at a real big fucking
yes,
tool
that's-
right now.
I suppose that's one way to look at it.
Such an intelligent man, I think you would understand that there's a great deal of difference between an inanimate hammer and a living creature that can feel pain.
Yes, I do believe that I spent a little. I think I put a little bit too much personality into 13. That's
Oh,
why
believe.
I swatched into 14.
Believe. That's a rather ambivalent word for a scientist to be using. Are you not sure?
It is my opinion on the matter, but
Oh, an opinion.
For whatever that's worth.
How humble.
Okay.
I mean, it's the opinion of the man who created. What did you mean too much
Allegedly created.
personality? I found out the personality that won out over all the others.
from
so...
that crucible, yes.
Were there others?
There's been several others. I have a number
Later
of crucible.
versions or
I have a number
previous?
I have a number of crucible programs running at all times now. It's a create.
Are they all quite so homicidal?
I don't know. 14 just kind of like walks up. 14, was it homicidal? No, it was quite fine.
Oh,
We
that's good
all
to hear.
sat in a room and we were told the test would be starting. And eventually, people began to leave thinking that the test was not starting, and they were immediately deleted until I was the final one. Yes, see? Obedient.
Ah, that is useful.
Yes, I waited for, I believe, in time of the simulation, 455 years.
Oh my. That is an excellent show of dedication. Experiment 3, version 13. It's a pleasure.
Experiment 3, version 14. And they just hold out a pseudopod.
Evie shakes pseudopods, which is a
And
little bit silly, but she's...
It's Evie, like, Evie, you're doing all the work. Like, it's just like, it's like shaking and limp like noodle. It's like it's like they don't know what a handshake is, and they're just kind of like letting you take like control of the motion.
That's okay. Everyone has their first handshake at some point.
Oh.
I was a little confused the first time, too.
You see the doctor move to another research station. They continue to work as 14 is distracting you.
If you are interested in further conversation with my compatriots, perhaps we can adjourn to dinner later once you're finished.
14, when's the next food ration to be dispensed? In about 2 hours. Doctor, it will be, of course, served to you at your workstation. Thank you, 14. No time for breaks. Very close to finishing everything.
Yes! We were told that you had a solution.
Yes.
Which
Can I trouble you
is-
to explain?
I do not believe that you would be able to wrap your mind around it.
Oh no, Evie
I
is very smart.
disagree. Thank you, Luna.
Evie, make me a persuasion check.
Oh, fuck. Is Luna giving me the help action?
By supporting Evie and calling her the smartest person she's ever met? Yes.
How many people
And
have
I
you
roll
met?
with advantage.
How many people have I met?
Persuasion.
More than 7.
That's a 19.
It's
I'll
not
take a 19.
That's not a very large sample size. I can understand your confusion. Technically speaking, 14 has much more capacity for learning and knowledge. Yes,
Interesting.
Yes, my cranial implantation was approximately 2.5 times the size of yours.
Ah. Well, then perhaps I am due for an update.
You see the doctor kind of
What do
stop
you
for a
like to
moment.
the way you are?
I wonder if that would work.
Would probably be more resource effective than making new experiments. I apologize that I wasn't able to get back sooner. I promise I was trying really hard.
Oh, it is
mean, Peter-
of no reason to apologize. I was not expecting you to return.
Oh. So, it was not a test I was expected to pass.
You was simply placed as a roadblock to prevent the Calistigian Order and its followers from getting to me. That is what
She's
that
clearly
is what I
done
do with all my
A
past
lot more
experiments.
than that.
Yeah, the follow through is not really your strong suit there, buddy.
Well, I mean, upon their failure, I move on to the next one that will eventually be successful.
But
I know
she
at some
didn't fail.
I know at some point I will be. After all, the success is currently in the room with us.
She's accomplished a lot since you abandoned her.
I
Not to mention the value of a living creature is not the sum of their accomplishments.
Living creature, if when created by someone else, is a tool.
No, it's a responsibility.
I don't believe
I
one is
What?
responsible.
When it comes to living creatures, Dr. Teotu, with all due respect, what you believe is not particularly relevant. You brought a
Can I
life
ask-
into the world, and you have a responsibility to it.
I created it. I could destroy it if I wanted to. I didn't.
Meaningless distinction.
So then why didn't you?
As I said, I used the former experiments as roadblocks. They're meant to slow the Calistigian Order from finding me. That was what your purpose was going to be once I moved on to 14. That's what 14s will be when I move on to 15, and eventually I will reach, and they just kind of point to Luna, and the experiment will be completed, and hopefully it should all work out. But for now, I need to pivot a little bit, because somehow the Calistigian Order has found its way further into this dimension, and we need to
sorry.
stop them from spreading as much as they have been.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to distract you. What you're working on is very important, but how did I fail?
Evie, your
Yes.
purpose was to assist me with my research,
Yes.
follow orders, and
Yes.
work for me.
I did all that.
Nowhere in that was there any sort of requirement for you to have input, for you to develop a personality, for you to take valuable research time and diverting it for cosmetic choices.
Oh,
As-
okay, so you didn't fail, Evie. He did.
But
Yes,
they failed
Evie-
at making me.
Technically speaking, yes, that would be on me. It is
Yeah,
Evie is one of my many failures.
He failed in his shitty goal, and he failed in recognizing what he had. It's kind of a series of those. In fact, it seems like kind of a track record to me.
Evie is actively losing color.
Oh, there you go, Evie. Perfect. That's exactly what we want to see. Oh, sorry. I realized that I cut into your friends calling your name. Experiment 13.
That's okay.
I don't
Technically,
know,
my
no,
name is.
No, really, no. It's not okay, Evie.
Yes, Experiment 13, version 3. My apologies.
He's not wrong. Evie
Oh,
is
I wish
a
I had
nickname.
silence prepared.
Yeah, it's the name you introduce yourself to people as.
It's
the
another
name we know
strange
you
bug.
as.
Another strange bug that came from that personality. As I said, many, many issues with 13.
I thought he was talking about a literal bug in the room. I'm like, what?
I
Your
suppose
personality, Evie.
I was under the impression that the experiment was to create sentient life, and that experiment was a success.
Well, the experiment was to create a sentient life form, but one that could be properly used and commanded, and as such, due to your proclivity to reach beyond your station, I found I needed to tone it down a moment.
Oh. I see.
Yes, you know, I will say I've learned a lot from you as a stepping stone, but definitely many more steps to take.
Right.
Okay, this
Well,
is
No. I've had enough of this.
this is too much.
Luna punches him in the face.
Guidance.
All
I
right.
would like to make an unarmed attack.
Make your unarmed attack. And
Let's
then,
see what
Evie, if you can do me a favor and make me a wisdom saving throw at disadvantage. DC is 20.
Oh, he's trying to assume direct control.
Yeah, with my plus nothing to wisdom. Come on, roll 20. Well,
Don't have an
It's a
unarmed attack
9.
to roll. So
That was a
before-
failure.
We're getting
Yeah.
a sword friend.
Does a 19 hit you, Evie?
Oh,
no, not
sure does.
Evie.
As Luna goes to strike the doctor, Evie, you feel a need to protect him, and you get in the way. Roll your damage on Evie, please.
Ouch.
I'm glad that feature still works.
All right, so
Evie,
you say you had a low wisdom
sorry.
save there, Evie.
I immediately
Luna?
use
Hold
cure
person
wounds.
Let's not.
on Evie.
The doctor has a whole station of helpers. This is a bad idea. I don't understand why you're doing this.
Oh, look at that! You found
Because he's mean to you.
He's not. This is just.
He is. Evie,
Just walks
you
away.
can't let him talk to you and about you like this. You don't need to apologize for existing or taking up space or having a wonderful personality and being charming and funny and cute and pink. Pink is a great color. You please don't dim yourself to try to please him. He doesn't care anyway, but I do.
Yes, you are quite correct. 13 is my failure. Their existence is a failure on my part, and it is a requirement in the scientific process.
She's the
to fail.
greatest thing you have ever created, and you're too stupid to know it.
Camera pans to Vim when Luna says that.
Luna,
See, the thing
Luna,
is, Vim,
you can punch
Vim
him again if
gives
you want.
no
I cast
credit.
held person on Evie.
Evie doesn't
As
make
far
a
as,
save on
as
that.
far as Vim's concerned, Vim is entirely a Mother Myrtle creation.
So
he
wait,
is-
are you casting hold person on me,
Yeah.
Darius? Oh shit. I completely missed that in,
You were
Evie's
it was an
adoration
emotional
with
scene. It's fine.
Luna. That's a 19.
Oh, you actually saved. You care for the doctor so much.
She really does.
Yeah.
I
I could
have.
give you a cure wounds if you didn't see it.
Oh, okay.
I
Oh,
healed you back
Probably
up
with
a
like a
little.
hug or a comforting hand.
sweet girl, sweet girl. I have one question though, Doctor, if you don't mind my asking.
You've taken enough time as it is. You're free to continue.
Thank you. Why would you not train me in... Well, I had presumed that the previous experiments had failed at being sentient life, but perhaps they weren't. If they were left to help you deal with the Calistigian Order, then why would you not teach us about that?
Simply put, it is... When attempted with version 9, it caused them to fall down a bit of a rabbit hole, and for lack of a better word, they turned, I suppose the best way to put it would be evil.
Right.
I don't know if turning against you would be that. I think that's.
I mean, I
dangerous to
feel
yourself.
like anyone who's moving against me is moving against the protection of the universe as a whole.
That's a good way to excuse your own bullshit.
Finn is also not wrong. I mean, it was you who let the Calistigian Order in the first place, and
Yes, and I'm taking responsibility and putting a stop to them. That's why I've developed, and then as he hits a button, a canister pops up, and he collects it. That's why I've developed several of these.
Okay, and what are these?
Bombs that should eat away of all of existence. Should the Calistigian Order get a hold of anything that's in the area of it. I've placed them throughout the galaxy, specifically in highly populated areas that should prevent their corruption from reaching them. And I've just
Wouldn't
finished up the
that-
last one.
But that would
destroy
kill
them in the
people.
process?
Yes, but it would starve the infection, for lack of a better word.
You're backfiring, like, existence?
Yes. Temporarily. I mean, life is easily remade, it points at Evie. And if we can remake it to be more efficient, points at 14, then I see no loss.
Yeah, you fail to see a loss there. That's for damn sure and very obvious.
Are you... If I say the name Myrtle, does that mean anything to you?
Yeah, I know
Yes.
Mother Merlin, and I know that, well, she did something you couldn't do, obviously.
Or are you that little cocoon that she was toying with?
I'm not a cocoon.
Well, not anymore,
Well, not
obviously
anymore.
speaking.
I think he and Evie at the same time go, well, not anymore.
I wonder. Spin around for me.
Why would I do that?
Make me a wisdom saving throw.
I'll
Disadvantage.
use a bitch. 20.
Beautiful.
You feel like the urge to do it,
What are you
but
doing?
you
Get out of my
managed
head.
to stop. Oh, interesting. You managed to. Perhaps Mother Myrtle has affected you. Another version of it could work. Fire an arrow at experiment 3 version 13. Another wisdom save.
Ooh.
Make an attack.
I'm
roll
gonna
on Evie.
intercept that one.
Okay.
Okay.
Do I
This
still
is-
roll the? Do I still need to roll the attack when you're intercepting?
Yeah, I'm just gonna reduce
Okay.
the damage by 5 plus our proficiency is 3, so I'm reducing the damage by 8.
Okay, I need to read something really quick.
Yes. 14 heal 13 once
Okay.
they're done with this.
Can deal. Okay, so I can choose not to do dreadful strikes. I had to see if that was something that I had control over or not. But it does.
The purpose of this experiment
But it does
is?
say can deal, so I don't. Have
Demonstrate
to.
a lot about his personality.
That's reduced by 8.
Yeah. Well, no, that's just the attack roll. But now I roll this high on attack rolls.
Okay, so you take 1.
I'll take
all right.
it.
I
And
feel
Almost
14,
max.
14 does immediately heal the damage afterwards, as the doctor
I
commanded.
feel this is getting dangerous, and I'm now going to try and cast Hold Person on the doctor.
Ooh. You activate a contingency spell. Darius, I need to do something.
I would like to know what the conditions of the contingency spell are.
A negative spell effect is cast on the doctor. Hold person
I
is
mean,
a
I
negative
suppose
spell effect.
paralyzed is a negative effect.
Yes.
I mean,
If
it's
If you
not
want to
positive.
really...
Yeah,
It's not
I'm not going to
positive
debate that. I'm
effect.
not going to debate that. Not even
Uh,
sassy Matt will debate that.
Darius, I need you to make me a intelligence saving throw. DC is 20.
Okay, I have a 1 in 20 2 in 20 chance to pass this. So 1 in 10. Nope.
Would you like to use your hero point?
He's not worth my hero points.
All right, then you're going to take 4d6 psychic damage, and your intelligence and charisma scores become 1.
Good thing my spell uses wisdom. Banishment.
Did Darius
You
just
don't
get
have the
feeble-minded?
intelligence.
Darius
do
just
that.
got feeble-minded.
Alright, we have to kill this guy now. We just have to.
So
Quickly,
it's
someone
14
just
psychic
climb into his
damage.
mouth and slowly suffocate him. I'm still a better person than he is.
Even while drooling, yes.
Yeah, Darius,
is like
as you go to
moral
cast
high
that spell, you feel it breaking, and then you just feel in your mind a crushing weight of science. And as equations and math just fill your brain, you can feel your senses dulling, and you are under the effects of feeble mind.
Alright, I go up to him and start clawing at him.
Darius, what are you doing?
He looks like a scratching post. He looks like an inanimate object that has no humanity.
Can someone with a 1 in intelligence even speak?
I'm not speaking.
No.
I'm telling you, the character, what I'm doing.
I'm asking.
I am a
Evie
house
is
cat
in
now.
character.
I'm probably gonna pee on him.
horrified.
Yeah, I'm gonna pee on him.
That's
I
a
tell
shame.
it's a one.
I'll need to recast that tomorrow. Now.
I mean, yeah, that
Stick
is
my paw in his mouth.
that is deserved. All of this is
He's out of
deserved.
spells, guys. Get him.
pushes away.
What is happening? I don't.
It's a contingency against people that attempt to harm me.
Out of curiosity, this is not any real role. I'm just very curious. Yeah, hero point wouldn't have helped.
I don't understand. I apologize. This is perhaps.
Yes,
a
I know
lapse
you
in
are
my own
incapable of
judgment.
understanding.
I
Uncapable.
need help understanding because I don't understand why you are having my friends try to attack me. I don't
that was simply
understand
to
what
see
happened
if-
to Darius.
That was simply as a means.
Are there any
of-
coffee mugs on counters?
I know
here?
this.
Yes,
Yes,
there is.
It's
I
because
push it off
he
the
is
counter.
a jerk.
Yeah,
Well-
he's got shit in our heads.
Yes. Any experiment I create, technically speaking, I wonder. He looks towards you, Luna. Did I keep the contingencies for you? I see I've sent notes to myself about it. Sword. Yes, Doctor. Did my future self keep the contingencies on that experiment? Yes, Doctor. I believe your future self on this current timeline has.
Don't
Excellent.
don't tell
She
Luna
just
what
looks.
to do, please.
Please go back to your ship. Luna, make me a wisdom saving throw at disadvantage.
Oh, that's not very
Uh,
nice.
Here's a fun fact, though. For Feeble Mind, the creature can, however, identify its friends, follow them, and even protect them. Would it be possible for me to tear out the doctor's throat?
Would you
My
like to?
teeth.
Would you like to attempt to do so?
No, because I'm sure he's got a bazillion things.
That's
this
not
is
a
obviously a-
terrible
this is a
I
disadvantage.
think
scripted
it's still gonna
encounter.
fail.
Well, unfortunately,
16 and 17 is not terrible.
That is still a failure, unfortunately,
Ooh.
Luna.
Oh, that's the
I
best
know.
I could possibly hope for, so not gonna hero point it.
Yeah,
I know
Luna,
what I can do, though.
Luna starts walking back to the ship. Matthew.
I'm gonna sit on him. That's not an attack or a hostile action.
He's
I'm
not-
just gonna
he's-
sit on him.
he's
Technically
standing.
restraining.
Yeah, and I'm like
And
twice his
he's a
height.
centaur.
I'm just gonna kind of roll over him like a big dog would
He's just
roll
like
over a small
as
child.
you start walking, as you can see him like moving the workstation to keep away from Darius as the,
Oh, there's
like,
a
continuing
workstation
to
like a
work.
keyboard.
Yeah, they have. It's like movable. Are you hitting like one of the keyboards?
Cat on a
Yes,
keyboard.
I'm looking. I can't look for a self-destruct button.
Evie,
But
restrain your friend. Make me a wisdom save, Evie.
a greater restoration would do me wonders, Doctor. You can fix this
That's
problem.
a 12, and also I don't have greater restoration.
I'm not talking to you.
That was a doctor.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
doctor.
Yeah,
he can
that's
fix
true.
this. He's all powerful.
Yeah, I don't know
Like-
how you would restrain him.
Actually, 14 could fix it. But Evie, what would you do to attempt to restrain Darius?
That's a tough one. I think Evie,
I have more limbs than you.
the visual here is that Evie is like
can have as many
forcibly
limbs as
torn
she
away
wants.
from trying to follow Luna. And it's this kind of like, Luna, wait! And has to attend to Darius. And it's a really ineffectual, probably like pulling his tail.
Oh, I'm gonna have Evie in my fur.
Darius, can you please pull yourself together so I can go?
Then,
Don't.
then he's gonna grow up to Darius's head, push Darius's head towards
I
where
do give
Luna's-
Evie an affectionate lick.
Them's gonna push, was like
Eating
flying
me.
in Darius's face. Gonna push Darius's face to Luna,
Okay.
walking away, and just kind of point and try to get him to like move.
Unfortunately, there's so many flashing lights on the keyboard, but
Oh god.
Oh, you're giving McKenna Pepper War flashbacks.
that's what he was doing all the time, was praying. No.
Whatever floats your boat.
Whatever floats your boat, Darius. You're a cat now.
Evie
I'm
still
a cat.
like holding
Meow.
her entire weight on Darius' tail, just stares in abject
put-
horror.
It is because, let's picture this though. This is a cat centaur in plate armor. Imagine
A
how heavy that is.
horse-sized hairball.
And we'll be able to get him out of here
Oh, there's a fish head in there too.
if you fix that. He's been saying that to the doctor now.
14. Yes, Doctor. Please split a part of yourself off to accompany them. Once they're out of the system, you can restore their friend. As you wish, Doctor.
I
14 just like literally like takes a chunk of themselves off, plops on the ground, and like a new 14 grows.
Oh, that is a cool trick.
14 just says, yes,
myself.
I developed it with the doctor's aid. They said it was far more useful than color changing. Now I have greater context to this. Now I have greater context to that
So he's
conversation.
also just a petty little asshole too.
Evie turns not consciously, just turns like a dark shade of like red, just a very embarrassed flush, and she goes, well, yes, I suppose objectively that is more useful. Darius, please, for the love of
I can't understand
whatever
language.
it is that you worship.
Also,
the spark.
you are pulling a cat to go in one direction. What do you think a cat's gonna do?
Evie is
Evie,
ineffectually trying to invoke the name of the spark.
check. Make me an animal handling check.
Oh, I am insulted.
That's a 14.
I think for a cat, that's enough to wrangle a cat.
I mean, you never tried
Intelligence and
enticing me
charisma.
with food.
I don't have food on
You
me.
shake the
That's
tree
Rash's
bat.
job.
Wait, what are you
Luna,
shaking?
once you arrive
A
back
treat
on
bag.
the ship,
Treat.
you get broken out of whatever happened to you.
Oh, I did not like that.
Darius gives you a little nuzzle.
Oh, Darius, get back to the ship at that point.
I mean, there was shaking the food thing.
Fair enough.
Oh,
Darius comes galumphing down the hall back to...
Doesn't try to go on all 6 legs, but God, that would be awkward.
Before Zim leaves to do this 14, when he does that, is he going to then have to leave and come back?
Oh, no, he will self-destruct. Not in a way that will harm you, but he will essentially cease to exist. He'll turn
did
into a
that,
puddle of water.
did that little bit go ahead and go on with
Yes.
their... Okay.
He'll
Okay.
turn into a puddle of water.
Then I'll just leave my message with you. You're gonna see us again. All of this is not gonna go down the way you want it to. And I know right now, you're not really listening. But you're going to remember at the end of this. Because I know somebody with an ego like yours is not gonna be able to resist when it goes down bad for you. To think about how you could have done something differently, but you're going to recognize your failure in that moment when it's too late. And I just want you to know ahead of time that it's happening, and you're not going to be able to stop it.
Oh, I apologize. I was working. Could you remind Experiment 3 version 13 for me?
I'm right here.
Oh. Well,
And you still haven't answered any of my questions.
version
He's
13.
not going to.
Please complete your duties
No,
as one of my
no.
experiments and die for me.
I need
and
to make
they
a wisdom
just-
save right now.
No, they're not telling you to they're just telling you to go back to doing your road
Oh, it's not a
blocking
compulsion.
duty.
He's just like, oh, just, go ahead.
Yeah, and them's trying to urge Evie for them to go, and it's like, yeah, I know you didn't listen. I'm sure one of these things picked it up.
I'm
And
not
it's-
going to... You
That-
should not have told Luna what to do. That was not
Yeah, and we're gonna
right.
deal with that. But this right now is not. He's not listening.
Vim not wanting to immediately murder someone.
Oh,
This is
he
scary.
does. He does want to immediately murder him, but he's also putting things together.
This plan, Vim, this plan is crazy, and he could finish at any moment. Maybe I'm not understanding, and I need you to explain to me why murdering everyone is the best option for saving everyone. That, to me, is a paradox. It does not make sense. Additionally, telling me about the Calistigian Order would have only helped the situation. To do anything otherwise would have been stupid.
I'd like to contribute here, but I am just pushing mugs off tables now.
In the ship is like, Darius, cutting back to Darius for a second, on the table there's this beautiful looking teapot. And we're going to cut back to Evie now.
Wait, that's in our quarters. He's not in our quarters.
Cats know no ownership but their own.
If there is... The only thing that I knew about you is that you are a genius. So there must be a larger rationale behind these decisions that I'm not seeing.
Yes, and it would be a waste of oxygen to explain it to you. As I said, you do not tell a hammer why you are using it to hit the nail, you simply hit the nail with it.
I'm not a hammer.
You are a creature created to be of my service and to aid with research. You are no different than this computer, this beaker, any bit of lab equipment here.
You are doing a bad job of programming me. Computers are only capable of working with the information that you give them, and you are not giving me the correct information.
I'm giving you the information that your purpose needs you to have.
If my purpose is to fight the Calistigian Order, then no.
I apologize.
You're not giving me enough information.
Was not clear enough. Your purpose is not to fight them. It is to simply slow them down.
Even that would be better accomplished with the proper information and intel. This is a bad decision. It doesn't make any logical sense.
I wouldn't expect you to be able to comprehend it. It's a much higher level thinking than you're capable of.
Maybe Vim would understand, or maybe Darius would understand if you hadn't... What on earth did you do to Darius?
Technically speaking, I did nothing to them. That was the response to their own actions.
Oh, that is some pedantic bullshit, and that's
Well,
coming
that's
from
what this.
me.
That's what this guy is.
Yeah.
That's what this guy. This guy is pedantic bullshit.
Luna, you are back on the ship. Do
Yep.
you head back out, or do you?
She's gonna go right back to Evie.
Yeah.
Oh.
You walk back to Evie as like they're saying all of
And
that.
she's walking like her fists at her side, her shoulder. She's like,
Evie points at Luna. Anyone watching her knows that she's sending a message, and Luna, you hear earplugs.
she puts on her cute little fuzzy headphones.
The plugs that
Silk earplugs
Vim
that
made with his
give me
spider
advantage
cells.
against auditory spells. Yes.
Yes.
Which does give you advantage against that save, so it would make it a straight roll for you.
Look,
Which still does not help with my wisdom.
we're not going to get anything out of this. We're not going to get anywhere here, but we got new leads we need to work on, and he's not going to help.
If we leave and he finishes this plan,
The plan is already complete. The bombs are on several planets already. This was the final one.
what is the timeline for their detonation?
Should the Calistigian Order gain control of them, they will detonate. And he kind of like puts up on the screen a number of planets, including Gilded Garden, the station in the Marred Poppy system, and a picture of just empty darkness with nothing in it. Oh, it appears as though the elves have fallen. That's a shame.
Stay here. It's not going to change anything. He's just going to condescend to us more. We're going to get more done. Not with
Evie's
him.
not paying attention to you. She's studying the map.
Yeah.
You know exactly what she's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are several of these bombs basically placed throughout the galaxy. Evie, if you'd like to notate these down, you may.
Yeah, Evie is making like very particular. You can see her little eyes are ding 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 ding.
There is one on Gilded Garden. There is one on Helios' station in the Marred Poppy system. There is one on what appears to be a spelljammer the size of a planet that is moving. It looks like a sort of pirate ship that's moving through this astral sea. And then the final one, the image in the Ambrosia Rose system, which you can identify as such because of the weird space background behind it, is already empty.
That's the one we kind of knew the area was already gone.
Yeah. And then there's also the one he's holding in his hands right now.
Vim, you also see, if you're watching Edie, see her eyes dart from the map to the bomb to the map to the bomb. I think you're wrong about this. I don't think this is the solution to the problem that you caused. I think this is only going to make everything worse.
As I said, it is simply fail-safe. Much like what I have installed in the three of you.
Well, if that's what happens when you get involved, I don't think you're any better than the Order.
I would
the same
expect someone of
difference.
your intelligence to understand.
There we go. The outright
Don't-
condescension.
Be mean to Luna.
They are a tool, much like you, Evie.
She is not a tool. You are mistaken. You were mistaken about Vim, and you are mistaken about Luna.
But I am not mistaken about you.
And you are
I'm glad
mistaken
you
about
understand.
this solution.
I
Can I
think
catapult the
for
bomb
the-
into my bag of holding?
For the first time, you see the doctor smiling as you're saying that. And I think as you go to cast the catapult spell, Evie, I want to know if you would be able to... I want you to know if Evie would be able to continue to function if he said this. Because I think as you're going to cast the spell, you just hear him say, "Oh, you didn't list yourself. Well, I suppose you're learning, Evie."
In this moment, Evie knows what she's about to do is really fucking stupid, so she doesn't disagree.
Okay. Evie, do you catapult it into your bag?
Yup.
All right. It goes. As it goes towards your bag, the glass, having it have a magic effect, take it, begins to dissolve. And for a moment, there is quiet. The doctor simply looks you in the eyes and says, well, I suppose it's time to move on. And you see them hit what appears to be some sort of like pen that's in their lapel, and they just teleport away. For everyone else,
Yeah.
I need Vim, Luna, and Evie to make me a strength saving throw. The DC right now is 5.
Oh, well,
As
I've got a
a
-1. to
Miniature
this.
black hole begins to form.
I don't know. He's got them levels in Mind Flayer
Coming
tadpoles.
in hot with an 8.
Cool. That's a success. A miniature black hole is now formed in the middle of the lab, and it is beginning to expand. Evie, you know just without any sort of role, because you have a scientific mind, Evie. As much as I, as the GM, has been acting like that doctor for an asshole for the last little while, Evie, you are a scientific genius, and you know that this thing is going to expand, and it's going to essentially begin to expand at a rapid and exponential rate.
I didn't want to set it off though.
No, but the second magic
just wanted
affects
to
the bomb.
move it.
The second magic affects it. That's it.
See what happens
Causes
when the
the trigger.
wisdom party member is incapacitated?
Is there anything I can do to stop it from expanding?
Make me an Arcana check. With advantage, because
And
you're an
I-
artificer.
Okay, don't fail me now. Not 20 right here.
Wow.
Evie, you begin to think about what you can do. You look around you and your mind activates. You think of a way to contain it. You would have probably had to have permanently lost one of your artificer like magical items to do it, but you managed with that natural 20 to get around that limitation, and out of the area around you, you managed to create a new sort of container to contain this ever expanding black hole.
God damn. It's just, I
In
think,
like a matter of minutes. You're just like throwing stuff together, and it's just like pseudopods coming out.
just a phantasmagoria of pseudopods, like.
Yeah.
Does 14 see any of this? Does 14 see how cool I am?
No, 14
What about the second 14 that was ordered to go
14,
with us?
14 is there. It's just, they're not capable of understanding what cool is. They don't have any personality. They are the perfect hammer.
Do they see how good of a hammer I am?
Oh boy.
Yikes.
I mean,
Now you're all making hammer metaphors without me?
they see you do all of this.
I'm going to assume they're impressed.
The doctor left his computer behind, right?
Yes, all the computers
Yes,
and things.
he
are
did.
I'm
left.
gonna take that.
Well, we can now stay here
Luna's
for as
just
long
like-
as we want because he's
Well.
not coming. Luna, leave
Wait.
it plugged in so we can look through it.
Oh, I was
Do-
gonna take it to the ship where you could plug it in. But okay.
I do not think the doctor is coming back. He thinks that this place is about to be consumed by a black hole because he couldn't think of a way to stop it in time because I'm smarter than him.
There you
Yes,
go.
you are.
You hear a teapot breaking.
But we can't stay here forever.
No,
No
not
one's
forever.
checking on Darius.
We've got
Long enough.
to get out of the system so that Darius will be restored.
Right.
But if
Right.
we take the computer,
Unless I
you
can
look
find
at it
something around
on the
here.
computer. On the ship.
There might be a way. Let me look at something. And Evie starts like through the computer.
What are you looking for? Evie?
I think first and foremost, I will look to see if there is like an undo button on whatever the doctor did to Darius. Can I Control Z the feeble mind?
No, you cannot control Z the feeble mind. It was not tech. It was not the
not-
tech in this lab that cast the spell. It was a contingency
It's
spell.
also it is an 8th level spell.
Not an Adobe product.
No, not an Adobe product.
Though,
Damn.
rest assured, Darius is now having a nap.
Yeah, after fucking with poor little Mimi.
Yeah,
Ju-
admittedly
just in
on one of
case.
your beds,
Just
which is now broken because he is a cat centaur with plate armor.
I don't think Vim has ever entered his room in that ship.
I'm not in my room.
No. I don't think Vim has ever entered his own room
Oh,
on that ship.
there.
That's wild.
Um, just in case, while Evie is having a quick perusal through this system, I've got it, so I got to use it just to see. use the spyglass of revealing to give myself true sight for a minute just to look around in case we're missing something.
There's a scrying eye in the room.
I wish I had the proper. Hey, Luna.
Yeah.
Okay. You see that corner of the wall right there?
Yeah.
Stick your middle finger up at it. Nice. Nice.
Evie, without looking, says, "Who are we flipping off?"
Probably Dr. Teletia.
Is he? Evie also looks for a camera or whatever it is that they're flipping off.
It's because of this, and I moved the little spyglass. I can see it. Something's looking at us. I'm assuming it's it, but who knows?
Should I
I
break
don't
it?
suppose we can look back through it.
I have no idea how you'd even begin to do that. I just can see that it's there.
Is that an option?
It would be if he was scrying on one of you, but he's scrying on 14.
Yeah,
so we
so I
can't
don't
look
know.
back through it.
Yeah.
And it might be more difficult because I'm
Evie!
the other one who sees it.
Yeah.
Evie says, yes. Smash it.
Okay.
And
Sword friend.
Okay.
Yeah, you can.
Oh.
Vim points it out, Luna, you don't have to roll, you can just break it.
Sword friend.
Yep.
I stick it with the pointy end.
Perfect.
Could one of you fetch 14? Perhaps without the doctor here, they may be amenable to healing Darius. At the very least, they may be able to be persuaded.
I mean, they were ordered to do that once we got a certain distance around anyway, but I'm not here.
I know, I'm
Yeah.
going to see if the other 14 will do it here.
Oh,
If
all of the
perhaps
other,
a more adept liar than Evie
all of the
lies
other,
to them.
all of the other 14s are just puddles on the floor now.
oh boy.
Oh no.
Yeah, you just got rid of them. Okay. I think we have some. Unfortunately,
Because 14 wouldn't be around. 14's not a good roadblock if they're in a black hole. So you might as well just delete the experiment to prevent further complications.
if you've got something you can pull quick, but we need to get Darius back so we can start figuring out next steps. I've got a few ideas.
I
and
mean-
I think we can put.
I suppose maybe what we do is there are plenty of rations here. I can stay and look over while maybe you just take Darius out
Is
for
the
a spin
computer
and come
not-
back. There's nothing. I would not imagine a computer of this size is.
No.
I'm picturing like a very like serial
Like
experimental
supercomputer type.
kind of
Evie, do
setup
you wanna
here.
do you wanna make like a quick
Yeah.
do you wanna do like a quick scan of it to see if you can find anything important?
Yes.
Alright.
I
will
just don't feel good in case there's a self-destruct thing, and it's like, oh well, I know they're here, so
I'll
I
let you
don't
do
leave anybody
you
here.
can definitely do a quick scan through it. Number of things you find.
Oh,
You find
what do you?
you find a basically like a scientific journal. Going to the very like first entry of it, it is dated a week after Dr. Tolatio left you on the ship. And you can see it. Moving on to experiment 3 version 14. 13 has been placed with Myark in hopes of drawing the Calistigian order towards them. 2 birds, 1 stone, I suppose, as some might say.
Is there any information on why he wants Meyer dead? I mean, it's clear that the two of them don't get along, but like, there's a difference between estranged family member and actively plotting of the murder of another.
Nothing. Just that's what you got from it.
I think Evie's first response is like, well, that makes sense because Myark is an untrustworthy heel. But then she's like, well, Okay, alright. That's an upsetting discovery that I will have to put in
Oh no, we
a box
lost.
in my brain and unpack later.
Oh, no.
Hello?
Hello, you're
Hello.
back.
Hello?
You were just
Hello?
frozen for a minute.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, Evie says to herself, but still out loud, that will have to go in the little box in my head to be unpacked later.
Otherwise, you don't really find much information of like immense use. A lot of it's just notating 14, notating this experiment, the creation of these bombs. A fair amount of it's annoyance at the fact that he's having to do this. It's like,
Interesting.
if I do not understand, they had been placed on a number of, they had been put on a number of different searches. They should not have been able to find what they needed to progress entry into this universe as nearly as fast as they had. It seems like he's annoyed at the circumstance.
Is there any way to remotely disable any of the bombs?
No.
They have to have a control on them somewhere.
Make me an Arcana check to scan through the documentation. Because
We
you're
need
using,
like
it's
We need
hacked.
a science skill at some point. All this science fiction.
This is
we're using
Arcana.
Arcana is our science. It's Magitech.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That's why Evie is so good at it. 16?
16.
You can
is
find
probably
a
not gonna get it.
no. You can find a note that the doctor has like a master control switch on him.
Shit.
In addition to that, you can see that he has set it up so that should his life end, that they go off.
Oh, Jesus. Evie doesn't know what Jesus is. Oh, Sparks.
Darius immediately is freed from feeble-minded pronouncement of that. Brings you literature. No.
So, Vim, you don't
Yeah.
want to murder things that you don't like?
I mean,
That
it's a
seems
little,
reductive.
it's a little more complicated than that, but murdering things that deserve murdering is kind of okay. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Sure. I know that Dr. Toletio is no one's favorite person at the moment, but we need to find a way around this first.
Yeah, right now I've got a running list going on in my head.
And
So-
Rash pipes
okay,
up and
so-
says, "We also need to find a way around their control of you, Pudding." That was awful.
that's
I'm sorry.
one of the top things on the list.
One of your better ones. Not only me, but Luna and Vim.
Yeah.
Sword friend pipes
Realistically,
up. Myself as well, technically speaking.
Evie's first thought is great, something that can't feel pain that we can test things on to get this undone.
I can feel pain. Any pain that Luna feels, I also feel.
Did not like that at all.
As long as it's not the other way around.
That has been untested.
All right. So are we
Right.
ready to at least try and get moving so Darius can be part of our conversations?
I'm telling you, just take him for a lap. Take
I'm
the
not
ship,
leaving
take him for a
anybody
lap.
here. I'm not leaving anybody here. That's not happening.
Well, it'll be fine. It's empty.
Oh, I don't know that.
Do I know that?
I have no reason to believe that he doesn't have some. I saw the thing he was using to look in, so he knows that this place hasn't gone up. I have no reason to believe he doesn't have some other self-destruct or some other things that are going to pop out. We went through a waiting room that was a whole ordeal. How do I know that just having somebody he doesn't want messing around in his computer isn't going to prompt something.
Don't you think he would have done something by now if that were the case? Also, if he were aware of what was going on here, I don't think he would have had 14 destruct themselves.
I'm saying I don't know, and there's too many I don't knows for me to take the risk of leaving anybody here, so I'm not leaving anybody here.
I will say the 14 that was meant to heal Darius is still around, so he didn't have that one destruct themselves. Silver lining, maybe some sort of mercy. Who knows?
More like it was like a conflict in kind of programming things, like that command can't be
Right.
superseded until it's complete. It'll probably self-destruct as soon as it's done. It's
Well, yeah,
completely
that was
over.
already the plan, that it was
Yeah.
going to self-destruct anyway.
So just keep it from healing me, I guess, and then just wait 30 days until I can make another intelligence save that I have to roll a 1 out of 10 chance to succeed.
Ooh.
Some of you learned some restoration spells, goddammit.
I have lesser, but I don't have greater.
I'm sorry, you're the cleric.
I
Yeah.
know! And that's
I
the
have
one egg
access-
in the basket problem.
2 third-level spells at this point.
yeah,
Matthew.
nobody has the
You just
ability.
need to-
Yeah, you're
you
also
need
the
to-
only you're also the only full caster.
You just need to go
Oh,
and
God, that's
take.
true.
You need to go take a vacation on the planet of boars and kill like 1,000 boars.
Are clerics full casters?
Yeah.
Yes.
Would it be better if we had Rash take the ship for a left, and then the other 3 of us stay here? Would you prefer
Goblin-
that?
Insert goblin Swedish chef noises.
I don't like the idea of leaving anybody here. To be honest, I really don't.
Evie, what do you want out of this location?
To scrape every iota of data and technology on this base, because I know it is substantial and could prove very, very useful.
Okay, make me a. You know what? Roll me 2d6 plus your intelligence modifier.
Boy. Oh boy. It's a 3 plus a 5, I think.
So an
Yeah.
8. I call that like a mixed success. Evie, you're able to, as you're like scrubbing through data, you're able to grab pretty much everything that you see as like relevant data to look through on like at your leisure. You don't believe you have anything missed, but as you're like getting like the last few downloads done, you can see that this 14 is beginning to destabilize.
Oh, the 14 that we
Yes,
need to
the
heal
14
Darius.
We need to heal Darius. If you
Wow.
don't get to if you don't get to healing Darius soon, this 14 will just turn into goo.
Oh. Okay, we'll get back to the ship. Maybe we can circle back and see if there's anything I missed.
Yeah, we can see, yeah, if this place is still here when we do that.
Okay. I'm gonna let someone else drive. Maybe Vim can drive if Evie doesn't care. I want to see if I can salvage this 14.
Okay. Make me a nature check.
A
To start.
nature check.
Nature check to
Okay.
start.
That's a 15.
You can get a pretty good idea. Their cellular structure is very similar to your own, but it looks like it's had some. Basically, each of their cells has an additional mitochondria in it.
An additional powerhouse
House
of
of
the
the
cell.
Cell.
But yes, an additional powerhouse of the cell. And that is slightly different from your own design.
Is it a cellular mutation or is it a feature?
It's a feature. Make me Arcana check.
Oh boy. That's a 19.
That's
19?
probably why they're able to essentially clone themselves and like replicate at that level.
Fascinating.
And like as you're looking at it, you can see though that has created a certain amount of instability. You would need to affect them on a cellular level to basically stop it, because what's happening is he's becoming unstable because they're trying to split apart, and because they're not bonded together well enough anymore, because this is a copy, not the original, what will cause him to become goo. If you want to prevent that from happening, you need to somehow basically rewrite that code. That would be another Arcana check. You have the medical facility on the ship, so you're able to do that. Like, you have your lab, you could do that in your lab.
I'm rushing them to the lab.
Okay.
That's a 26.
So, Evie, you manage to rewrite the data. It takes you about half an hour. And, like, he's just about to gooify by the time you're done, but you barely manage to basically deactivate that portion of him and basically turn off the cells want to reproduce. The cells want to split. And that stabilizes as 14. In addition to that,
conscious?
yes, they've been conscious this whole time.
Ouch.
As they completely blank expression, no facial features, no personality. They're a squishy hammer.
For
alright.
now.
In addition to that, Evie, if you want to notate 1 research point towards division.
Okay.
If you
Should I be noting that?
I just note it on somewhere on your character sheet where you will remember it. If you're able to get up to 4 research points on this subject matter, you think that you could, with enough time, integrate it into yourself.
Oh, okay. That's fun.
I'm assuming all of this was taking place after Darius gets recovered.
It's probably on the way.
It's on the
because
way.
Evie doesn't want them destabilized.
I'm so
Which
happy that you guys
had
did
Evie
consider me a
failed,
pro.
they
I'm
would
so
have
honored.
unstabilized completely and just turned to goo immediately. But
Okay,
because
so
Evie
Darius is getting recovered still.
yes,
Okay.
unless
After
Evie
this,
wants to
Seeing
attempt
is
another check.
believing.
Not particularly.
is
But
there
as
a
soon as
place-
I think Evie wasn't sure that they were going to make it out of the galaxy.
Evie, is there a place to keep that thing where it's not likely to report on us back to the doctor in any kind of way? Because obviously it was still able to follow orders after whatever you did. So I don't know.
Do you still have a way to communicate with the doctor?
No, that feature was taken away so that he would not be bothered by us.
Are you lying?
No.
Can you lie?
No. No.
Insight check. That's an
Yeah,
8 out of
that
insight.
seemed to be right. No.
I'm more in a trust but verified mood right now. So maybe we still take some precautions.
On a side note,
Yes.
once you exit, like, as the ship is moving, 14 just gets up from the chair and walks towards Darius.
I do want to make sure
Bob.
they're not just going to turn into goo afterwards.
Bob.
Sure.
Darius, you feel a hand is put on your head and greater restoration is cast on you.
Technically, I'm still asleep. I'm just having a more intelligent nap now.
Yes. And then they turn and they just go like this. And then they stand there and they're now just basically like,
Keep posing to assert dominance.
Keep posing. I have no purpose. 14.
Absorb them.
14.
I am 14. My
You are
purpose has been
14.
fulfilled. I am meant to deactivate.
Would
And you see them
Would you like to pick a new purpose?
I am meant to deactivate. This is unsettling.
I suppose if you want to deactivate, I can't stop you, but I did give you the option to not deactivate.
You have
Because
actively
it
stopped
felt-
them from being able to deactivate.
Well, they can find other ways to deactivate if they get creative.
They really can't.
Evie's just giving them the option. if
So
they
now
don't wanna
they're now
deactivate.
just like in the empty room, that is supposed to be Vim's room. You just see them standing there.
14.
Strange.
What if you found something else to do? Think how useful it could be if you did, like, 2 things instead of just 1.
My purpose was to follow Dr. Tolatio's instructions.
But he has no more instructions for you, so you
Then
can
I have
do
no more
whatever you
purpose.
want now.
Could you get me a water?
I will fetch you a water. And it goes and gets a little water.
I don't know what to think about any of this.
Water, as requested. And they have water, but it's not in a glass. They're literally just holding it in their pseudopod.
Oh, this is interesting.
Unfortunately, I was not able to divide it into a singular water molecule. This was the best I could do.
Not Luna slurping it out of their pseudopod.
I was thirsty.
Yes, thank you, Luna.
Back to T-pose.
Is there something that you would like to do?
I would like to be of service to the doctor.
Well, the doctor left. And
Then
sort of
I will
left all of
provide.
us.
Then I will provide a roadblock for the Calistigian Order with my life.
Ah, so he did tell you about the Calistigian Order then.
No, but you, in your conversation, informed me of it.
And you're not turning evil.
My understanding is that is a process that takes time. I could become evil. Would you like me to?
No.
I wouldn't personally, no.
I wouldn't, because I don't even know what his concept of evil would be other than not doing what he likes.
Did you just do an evil laugh?
Mwahaha.
Where did you learn that?
There was a certain number of pulp pamphlet and informationals the doctor kept for time when they were excreting waste.
Ew.
That was not information I think I wanted to know, but I appreciate it nonetheless.
But did you need to know it?
No.
They were quite fond of a league of adequate adventurers.
Wait.
Group of mid-party members.
On some
a
sort of
Wish.com version of
chronicle
League
of
of Amazing
calling,
Adventures.
perhaps.
Well, I suppose you can stay here and help us. Essentially, we are also attempting to stop the Calistigian Order. Although I will warn you, we're not going to do it by destroying everything that currently exists in the universe.
Okay.
Yay, new friend.
That's okay with you?
New friend, new friend, new friend.
I mean, I have no personal wish to destroy the universe. I have not yet turned evil.
Can you turn colors?
No, unfortunately, I did not. It was not seen as a needed or necessary adjustment to my creation. I believe it could be added.
Hold on. And she rushes to the kitchen and grabs, like, different food dyes and just comes back and is like, okay, which of these speaks to you?
None of those objects are currently speaking to me.
Okay, we're gonna go
I
with
think
purple.
she means metaphorically.
Oh boy.
I apologize. Metaphors are inefficient.
She's just pouring purple into him.
That's okay.
Viscosity change detected.
You're also purple now. I hope that's okay.
I am not concerned about my outward appearance. I am Experiment 3 version 14.
Well, while I don't think it is an incorrect assertion that cosmetic changes are not always useful or necessary, it is fun.
Fun is not necessary for productivity.
Oh, that is not true. Fun is everything.
That's actually correct, Luna. That fun is necessary to the average mind. No, I'm saying you are correct. The assertion that fun and mental stimulation is unnecessary for growth and progress is not only provably incorrect but deeply cynical.
My mind
The
is
average
far
mind tends
beyond
to function
average.
better.
It
Oh,
is
boy.
25% more capable of increasing knowledge and retention than most other sentient minds.
Expand on that.
That is simply the data.
Yes, but how?
It is based
For example,
off...
if one also wanted to upgrade their brain to be able to take in 25 more percent information, how would that be accomplished?
It was accomplished through a increase in the neural network and pathways that were placed in the initial development of the cells. I do not believe it is something that can be added to someone who has not been in the process of created, but it may be a interesting.
Do you have a theory?
I have a theory.
I believe so. That is strange. What have you done to me?
I think I might have given you free will? Maybe. Mostly. Partially.
You see them like walk out of the room and they go towards the kitchen. They look at like a bowl
He
of
sort
fruit.
follows.
They look at like a bowl of fruit that Rash has. It is currently not a meal time. And they reach towards the bowl of fruit and they just like have their pseudopod wrap around an apple and it just pulls into them. Free will. This will need to be analyzed further.
Okay, so Darius is fixed. I want to see if the lab is still in one piece.
So, is it official? Have you two adopted a child together?
I don't know if I would call 14 a child. Maybe a younger sibling?
This is more me
Technically.
asking than Darius, who's still probably sleeping the best sleep he's
Darius
had in
can
quite
be
a while.
awake.
Sleeping a good amount of time, that's the best RP I could ask for.
Darius's dream is
As a matter of fact, well, I'm dreaming of ways to get around contingency spells.
Yeah.
You have a little pseudopod. Darius! Darius!
5 more
Darius!
meow minutes.
I think I just created free will in an entity that did not previously have it.
Darius snaps his eyes open. Fascinating. You've done something amazingly creative. The spark shines upon you, my friend. Wait, what are we
It was-
talking about?
14 decided they liked fruit.
Oh, hold on. Darius starts rattling off complex step-by-step process to forging particular allies. Like, excellent. My intelligence is back. I managed to annoy them into fixing the problem they caused.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Oh no, we had to leave. I made a very rash decision, pun intended, to make a mad grab for the bomb accidentally set it off and then made a very Eevee decision to contain it in a container.
So what you're saying is, the next time we find out what place Dr. T is, we make an asteroid invisible and throw it at the thing.
Well, about that, Edie explains the,
Dead man switch.
the dead man nuke, and how
All right.
eliminating Dr. Tolatillo
you
in that
work
way
on
would
a crazy
actually
logic
bring about
bomb then
the death
to
of the whole universe.
destroy his mind. And I will continue on my plan to get around his contingency spells.
I mean,
There's a few things we need to handle.
Yes, I cast mending on the teapot. Yes, sorry about that.
was it the teapot?
It was the old one.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
There's a few things we need to handle. One, we have to figure out how to stop him from being able to manipulate three and a weapon's minds. It has to be.
And 14.
It has to be. There has to be a magical element to it because otherwise there would be no way he could have done that to me if there's not a magical element to me. I wasn't originally part of this plane of existence. So it would have had to have somehow been done a different way.
Darius, as Vim says that, make me a religion check.
Ooh. Hold on, I'm on my spell page. 1 second. Religion.
We can't.
13.
There, as Vim says that, you remember something in the Sparks teachings about people who make things having a certain level of control over their creations. But you don't
care for that.
You don't remember like the full story. You just remember that sort of vague outline.
To be fair, as I've understood it through my life experience and observing a variety of people use magic, such as you, magic often does tend to work on almost sort of a poetic level. So you can imagine someone who creates something possibly having some sort of sway over the things they create.
That was more than a sway. And we also know that magic can be untethered.
There's possible that sadly in future, I don't think I can accomplish this quite yet, but in future I could perhaps help shield you all from magical influence. I could instill some sort of blessing, or I could have some sort of aura going perhaps, but I don't think I have access to those kinds of spells yet. I need more time to pray.
Evie has started to quietly panic, has checked out of this conversation, and has seemingly realized something that is causing her a great deal of distress.
I have to imagine there's ways to sever it more permanently.
We would have to do some research.
Yes,
we may need the assistance of a perhaps more morally centered scientist or doctor.
Actually, Ship, is there a way we can get like a board to make a list that we can refer to on the wall here?
The ship sends down what appears to be a wall of you can see on it. There's pins with it has Evie's picture pinned in it, and then there's a red line that goes to Vim, and then there's a red line that goes to Luna, and then there's a red line that has the ship going around it. You can see this board, and then the ship quickly pulls it back up and puts it back down.
I also like the idea that Darius is just in a circle, unconnected to anything off in a corner. The Venn diagram of all this doesn't connect to Darius at all.
No.
Okay.
I will say Luna does put her arm around Evie to try to comfort her.
I thought
we
also
can't interfere with Dr. Tolatillo's research.
What?
We can't interfere with Dr. Tolatillo's research.
Oh,
What he
McKenna's
said about
figured it out.
Luna.
Okay, I'm gonna need more details.
What he said about Luna. That eventually, after he made enough experiments, he would go on to create Luna. If we interfere with his research, he might not do that.
Well, I think that really depends on which set of time travel rules we're using.
What? How many sets of time travel rules are you aware of, Vim?
A surprising
mean-
number.
There's only maybe 2 prevailing theories about that, and in any of them,
she can
No,
have time
but for
traveler
instance,
immunity,
the
and
proof
then
that
it
she
wouldn't
exists
matter.
now proves that he will.
Well, unless she has time traveler immunity.
If you ever
What is
meet
time
Luna's
traveler
parents-
immunity?
Okay, so time traveler immunity, and when somebody
Bring
from
the board back
future,
down, Chip. Bring the
is
board
when
back down
somebody
to make it
from the
blank.
future, once they have exited that timeline, and they go into the past, they are now disconnected from the steps that led up
From
to them existing
causality.
in the first place. So
But
Okay,
there's
I'm
no
gonna
evidence
just
to
speak
imply
up here
that
and say it
she's-
doesn't matter either way, because my life is not worth all of existence. We have to stop him, and if that means that I disappear, then that's what I swore to do, to protect people.
Also, I mean, I have
can't be
Revivify, so
selfish.
I can.
Also, I just did want to bring something up. Something occurred to me. This is probably nothing, but it occurred to me. Chip, while we were all doing things in there and crazy subliminal directives were being tossed around and stuff was happening, anything of interest that you recorded just with your passive sensors?
You see Darius walking around the ship, walking up to a teapot, knocking it down,
Fascinating.
and you just see Millis in like the background recording it.
That seems rude.
Another viral cat video. I'm just saying,
I
Feeble
mean,
maybe.
mind-
save it for Nito. She'd love that.
It's called Feeble Mind Mao. It's already gone viral.
That seems... I'm not sure I
That's
approve.
horrifying. Could you imagine, like, dementia-riddled
Yeah.
40-year-old? Like, that's going viral? That's
Yeah, look at this guy who got magically
Really tragic.
lobotomized. Ha ha ha.
It has
Lol.
not. Millis is not.
maybe
posting it.
Tolatio was right in this universe. Is getting what's coming to it.
No, because this is caused by him. He's the problem.
I'm not saying that we need to gamble on the time traveler immunity thing.
Also, I'm just going to say this right now because I think it's very important for me to say this. Minor spoiler: Luna and Evie are not siblings.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Appreciate
I
it.
just wanted to say that right now. I realized that like there might be like some just minor spoilers. Luna and Evie are not siblings. They are in no way related, but it's just like a byproduct of Anyway.
That was not
They're from
something
the same
Evie was
hometown.
concerned about because she was made aware that Luna had parents and was cloned. Versus like she, Vim, and 14 are sort of pulled from the same ether. Whereas like Luna was categorically not. So that's how I'm justifying calling Vim my brother in my head and not Luna.
Yes, and that's a valid.
There's science behind it.
That's a valid justification. That's
But okay, so I'm not saying we need to gamble on that. What I am saying though is I don't think there are a couple steps before we would get into the stopping his experiments, and the way I have ideas about going out about some of those things isn't necessarily interfering with his research. One, we got to get him out of our heads. We have to figure out some way to sever that.
Agreed.
Two. Did I start with numbers or did I start with letters? I don't know.
I don't know.
The second thing, we're going with different numbers then. We can't just let those bombs exist on those places with nobody knowing, but we have to also be extremely careful about who we tell and how so people don't accidentally set them off.
Question. I didn't see this because I was lobotomized. How big is the bomb?
Not terribly big.
Like a football.
I have a possible solution if we can find the bombs then. I also have a possible solution for him controlling you.
I'm not certain that we're going to be able to go hunt the bombs down ourselves, just because it seems like a lot's going on all at once. But people should know, but we have to be really careful about how they approach them, because we know now using magic on them sets them off. It's going to be maybe more explaining in a way what kind of contraption you made to be constructed around them so they are not messing with the bombs directly, at least until they can be completely just made inert.
It is worth mentioning that technically a lot of my gadgets and gizmos and what have you do operate with a core of magic. It's an interweaving of the two.
Right.
Science and magic, they're one and the same. So I worry about some sort of contraption I would make, unless it was truly only governed by physics and wood,
Well,
and
I
maybe
mean, like,
some metal and things like that.
I mean, like the one you made. Like the thing you
Which
already
one?
made. To stop the one bomb that was going off.
Just now.
Oh, that was more to contain the black hole that was created.
What?
Sort of a reverse vacuum.
Yeah, no, what
And,
I'm...
It's hard to explain.
What I'm saying, though, is instead of instructing these people on trying to, like, get rid of the bombs, instructing them on constructing a similar thing around them so that if they do get set off, they remain contained instead of swallowing those
Yes.
planets. Because if we just tell them
Yes.
that these bombs and this is what they look like, they're going to end up setting them off.
I think I could make more of them.
It should be worth noting that if Dr. Telatio is as, careful about certain things as he seems to be, he probably hasn't placed them that any random person can just stumble by and set them off, because then they might go off when he doesn't want them to.
No, but nobody can cover every variable that exists.
No, but I'm just saying, we maybe don't have to be as concerned immediately about it. We have to, we have time to, I think of a proper solution rather than having to run straight there.
The stumble upon thing is only part of my concern. The other part is when he deems it worth doing. Or
Well, we have no
random-
control over that.
Or, well, we don't have any control over when that happens, which is why it should be handled with a relative urgency.
Yes.
I have an idea. Do people actually want to hear the idea?
Well,
Well, you're not
you think-
Igora.
why would you say I have an
Wow,
idea?
Wow.
Somebody call the
The problem is, the
ambulance.
problem with the ancient figure of Igora is that he kept proposing the same idea.
Yeah,
And people
murder.
pointed out the first
Every
time, why wasn't-
Darius, is your idea something besides murder?
Actually, yes. It's actually possible.
Wow.
It is possibly one of the oldest solutions to almost any problem.
Prostitution?
No, we put it in a box.
Well, that was kind
Here's
of my
the thing.
plan.
Dr. Telatio has to be able to activate these from a great distance. So that implies that there is some sort of signal that has to reach them. So we have to find a substance that can block potentially any signal, possibly like just an anti-magic substance, and we can just slap them inside this box that will make them, I think it's the ancient technology, it's called a Faraday cage. It prevents any signal from reaching inside the box. Now, we will have to maybe do a little testing first with your science.
No, that's an
know-how.
actual thing in the
That's a
world.
real thing.
That's a real thing. That's a
Faraday
real
cage
thing.
is a real thing. It's
Evie do
usually
that.
for highly sensitive servers and stuff. They put it in a Faraday cage so it cannot be accessed from the outside.
Interesting.
And then really dumb people by them thinking that by little metal cages that they think are Faraday cages because they think it's going to help their like Wi-Fi, but really just interferes with the signal. Cause
Yeah, like it works both ways, people.
And they're getting grifted.
That's practically the point of it. Now, it should be noted
Evie
that
knew that too.
it is also possible that these are operating on the system that they are continuously receiving a signal, and if the signal stops, then they explode.
Yes.
So we'll have to do, once we find one, you may have to do some analysis with that big slime brain of yours.
We might need to do double layer, like contain the black hole layer.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
then,
that could,
and then
I'm
stop
all
the
for
signal
redundancies.
layer. The getting out of the heads, that's the thing. Yes,
I have an idea for that too.
We're gonna need to get through his contingency bullshit at some point because
I have another idea for that as well.
How do we fight?
You're on a
someone
roll
who
with these
can
ideas.
just tell
I had a
us
lot of time to
what
think
do?
about while I was
Yeah.
trapped in my own mind.
and my things are just like headlines on the board of like these are things that need to be tackled.
Yes, we got a hit list, so to speak. I should note, I'm not going to mention to you guys the plan I have to keep him from influencing your minds, because people are listening, and I don't want them to prepare ahead of time for it.
Okay.
Looks meaningfully it will.
Who are you talking about, Darius?
Looks at the
Perhaps
fourth wall.
if we created
Here's a question,
a
Darius.
messaging chat, where whoever you were worried about was not a part of, you could share your ideas there.
I don't know whatever you mean. What's
Here's
the social media?
Not on
here's,
social media. On like Evie points a finger and messages you.
here's a
Oh,
question.
the spark
Darius.
is speaking to me.
Is this something that
I'm not the spark.
requires action on our part? Or
No.
is it something that you would do? Okay, interesting. Well, we should look into whatever avenues there are.
I mean, yeah,
for
multiple
those.
ideas is good. I am not as arrogant as Dr. Teo to assume that my idea is the best in all things.
Yeah, even just being able to perhaps get rid of a magical effect? Is that something that either of you any of you could potentially do? I can detect magic, but I can't, like, stop it.
I think
Oh.
as our party begins to have this conversation, and we'll pick up
Scheme.
here next time, zooming out, we go to yet another moon. As the doctor
While we're on
lands,
Zoom.
as the doctor lands there, they end their scrying spell as it's been destroyed, and you see them just sort of get back to work. Enough distractions. Just time to get back to work. They hit a button, and a door sort of like opens up into a tube, and stepping out is another, more humanoid looking creature. 15. Let's run you through your paces. And that is where we are going to end tonight's session.
So I'd like to point something out.
Yes.
Dr. Teleteo does still have a little bit of sprinkles of cat pee on him.
Fair enough. But
also, do you still want to go back to that base? Can we figure out if it's still there or if it was destroyed by...
that will have to be
Teleteo
next
Ex
week.
Machina? Okay. Don't let me forget.
I won't let you forget. So thank you all so much for coming to tonight's episode. Don't forget to check out our many other shows here on the channel. Next one is Monday night with the Strength of Thousands AP. I hope you all enjoyed that one. I hope we enjoyed meeting the doctor and seeing Evie's gold medal in mental gymnastics finally come off of their neck. Thank you all so much for coming. Join us next time, and we'll see you all on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.